Welcome back. Season 2 of the Selective Podcast, the second season of season 2, guys. It's hard to do an intro when we're sitting here and we got like crazy guests in the house, in the flesh, because we've been doing this all on Zoom. But of course, first and foremost, the co-host T is here. T, what's up, bro? How are you doing?
What's up, man? Happy to be here. Happy to have our first guest on season 2. You know, live in the flesh. Shout out to Kyron.
What's good? What's good, everyone?
Kyron, how you doing, man? Welcome to the pod, bro.
Yo, thanks for having me. It's good to be in New York. I haven't traveled in so long.
Yeah, man.
It feels like ages since I've traveled.
When was the last time you were in the city?
I looked at my camera roll and it said like 200 something weeks. So like definitely a long time.
Damn, man.
Yeah. When I seen
it's like 4 years.
And like, no, actually, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like, it was like 4 years.
Yeah, maybe something like that. 4 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't feel like that long, but yeah.
The thing is that you're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So like the lockdowns have been insane over there.
Yeah, I know. It's been nuts. It's been super crazy. But like now things are starting to get a bit better. But like before with like curfew and like
that's so tough.
all that, like the curfew shit was like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like not being able to leave your house after like 9 is kind of like
that's insane. It's like
it's like jail.
That's how strict it was.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think at one point it was 8. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like people are like running home. It's like dramatic.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's crazy.
And what was it, like a fine or something? If you,
I believe so. I think people are getting fined. Like even people that were trying to walk their dogs were like
getting fined.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It was gnarly. For sure.
But now the border is fully open. Like you can just come in.
It's weird. We can't leave by car, but people from the States could come into the country by car, and you could leave the country if you're double vaxxed with like pretty much if you're double vaxxed.
So by plane.
Yeah, by plane.
Word.
Yeah.
Crazy world, man. Montreal, that's where you're based out of, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So is that where you grew up?
I grew up in Montreal. I was born in Philly, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Philly.
How long did you live in Philly?
I lived in Philly till I was like 2, and then I moved back and forth between like Philly and Montreal, and like I spent a little bit of time out here too in New York because I had family here.
Word.
But like, I was just bouncing back and forth, and then eventually my mom just kept me in Montreal for like school.
And you consider yourself Canadian then?
I consider myself Canadian, but like I have dual, so like I reap the benefits of both. But like I'm not in the States enough to consider myself.
Right. But you would say Montreal's your home.
Yes. Yeah. I would.
Yeah, word. So how's the fashion culture out there?
Fashion culture is nice. It's like developing more in the more recent years, I would say, just because I always felt like everyone gave Toronto so much praise because of how Americanized it is.
Yeah.
For the most part. But Montreal has a slight charm with its like European hints to it. Like it has
a lot of French influence.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of French influence, and just like even the architecture. Like we have like places like Old Port where it literally looks like you're in Europe. So that rubs off into like the everyday aesthetic of people. Like everyone's like more Parisian or different styles of that nature, I would say.
Where do you speak French?
I speak it, but it's not the greatest. I understand it very well, though.
Yeah.
Word, man.
Canada, I feel like I always start off the pod by asking people how they've been holding up this past year and a half.
Yeah.
The world has changed a lot. How was like your perception on maybe fashion culture change in the past year and a half?
Fashion and culture change. I feel like a lot of people gave it a lot more attention because like they had more free time to like dive into it. It was the same thing for me. Like I gave YouTube a lot more attention because of the pandemic. Like I was doing a consulting contract that was a bit more corporate before the pandemic, and then I got let off. They let off like 20 people from the team, and it was pretty crazy. And then after that, I was just like, damn, what am I going to do? And then I just kind of like turned a negative into a positive. And then I started giving YouTube more attention. And then the channel started growing like 10 times more than it ever has before. So like,
awesome.
Yeah, I've been
and
really
speaking of YouTube, how did you get into doing YouTube?
Boredom for the most part.
Really?
Yeah, like pretty much boredom. I would watch a lot of YouTube. So it was just like kind of natural for me to make YouTube videos. Yeah. And then like also when I was younger, I was just like making BMX and skate videos with my friends. So like I didn't want to have it on a hard drive, and I wanted my friends to see it. So I just put it on YouTube because like that was just like the common thing to do. Yeah. And then eventually when like I realized my friends were way more gnarly at skating and like BMXing than me, I was just like, I know I'm good at fashion, so I might as well just like start making fashion YouTube videos. And then that just became like my hobby, and then it just started slowly growing. I'm like, who are these people watching me?
So how long ago did you
I started out when I was like maybe like in high school. Yeah. So
because I think you mentioned once in one of your videos that it was like a slow grind.
Yeah.
And then within like the past couple of years, it's really taken off, hasn't it?
Yeah. No, like definitely like the last year has probably been the most growth, which is funny enough to say. Like I've been doing it for a long time, but like it's we live in a very impressionable era right now, especially with like TikTok and like everyone's just hyper fascinated with like internet culture. So like everyone's giving it the time that it deserves, like all the time. Like that, I feel like that's why this year it's grown so much. I don't know what's going on, but like,
I feel like not only YouTube, but like the Instagram game is huge as well.
And like TikTok and
I think people just had more time.
Yeah.
You know, they were just at home bored. Yeah. You know, I'm guilty of it. I spend a lot of time on YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's true. Cause everyone's like, was so caught up in their own world, but this was the first time like people took a step back and was like, hey, like what are other people doing? And like,
I feel that, man. I feel that. I think the pandemic for me, is when I started hitting like the quote unquote Instagram grind hard with like fit pics. And I feel like for me, that's died a lot recently. Just to like trying to refine my style and like get more comfortable with wearing the things that I want to wear. But I think for a lot of people, the pandemic was a good like restart.
For sure. Yeah.
You know?
That's very important though, what you said, like refining it and making sure that you're actually doing something. Like I take that approach. I tell some of my friends that do music to take that same approach. It's like, you want to like refine your craft before you actually dive into something and like make sure that it's like pretty proper, but also at the same time you want to like trial and error. Yeah. You know? So like, that's how you kind of grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel that.
And so do you consider yourself, like when people ask you, you're like, do you say I'm a YouTuber?
No, I hate doing that. YouTuber and influencer is like,
for me, if someone tells me like I'm an influencer, I'm just like, bro.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's just, it has a negative connotation to it, or it's just like it's like an off-putting thing because people just don't know how to pin it on a board type of thing.
Yeah. And it's so like, there's so many YouTube creators across so many different mediums that it's so hard to pin someone down like that, man. You know
and they don't take them seriously either. Right. Like, that's the problem. It's like if I'm in a setting where we're at a dinner table and there's like, I don't know, there's like an executive here and like a journalist here and I just say I'm a YouTuber, like people are just like, oh, okay. Like, but if I say all the other things that I do that stem off of YouTube, then people are like, oh, okay. Like, more interesting.
Take you seriously.
Yeah, to take a lot. Yeah. So I just kind of say like I'm a creative entrepreneur or like other things of that nature, you know? So like it's just multifaceted.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like what you said, XR, makes total, you can't really pin someone down. I mean, and then I think that it very much has a connotation if someone tells you that they're an influencer, like automatically, I feel like especially the older generation, they're like, okay, this person doesn't do anything. They don't do anything.
Yeah, they're like, you don't do anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like YouTube videos. That's it. Yeah. They're like, I worked hard for my money.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask you, man, speaking of like YouTuber stuff, you know, obviously there's been a lot of creatives in the fashion space that have come in and out of YouTube. We think of Jacob Keller. We even think of like Avery Ginsburg, a lot of other people and that have translated to like making clothes, you know, that have translated to making brands. And I don't know if this is a tangent for me, but I don't like the term like YouTuber brand.
Oh yeah. No one really does. Yeah.
It's a horrible term.
When I think of like what Sanj does, I bought a couple of his pieces in the past. Avery, I love what he's doing at Ground Cover. I just feel like they're doing like cut and sew pieces. It's more than just quote unquote YouTuber fashion. Yeah. I don't know. How do you feel about like the whole term YouTuber fashion?
I just like putting it in the same category as I feel like it's because men's YouTube is like kind of a niche in itself. So we're quick to do that. Like be like, oh, like this is a YouTuber brand. But for example, like if a woman did that for like a woman's YouTube channel, it would be like, oh, like she's just having a independent brand. Like it's like a small independent brand.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
so
actually
like,
so true.
Which is like, it's exactly what it is. Like we have to call a spade a spade. Like that's what all of these guys are doing. They're just small independent brands and they're trying to do their own thing, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the new age of fashion that a lot of people are going to start appreciating a lot more because it's like, it carries all of the pieces that a lot of people care about when it comes to like sustainability.
Right.
Like almost like that drop culture aspect where like if you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't.
You don't, right.
And like the quality. Yeah. And the quality is great.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like, and you're supporting like a person that you look up to or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's a big difference between like, there are YouTubers that just make garbage.
Like, there's merch.
Like
merch.
merch.
Exactly.
So for me, that's the big difference. It's like there's merch and then there's like Ground Cover for me, it's a brand.
Yeah, that's a brand.
They're making cut and sew pieces. Like they're doing stuff that nobody else does. Like, and like the shit's nice.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. There's like clear brand identity.
Absolutely. But there's a lot of guys that just do merch and that's where I feel like
it falls off a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, it's very easy for someone to be like, okay, everybody who has a brand is making merch, but for me, I draw a very definitive line between those two things.
Easy.
You know,
because like I feel like merch, it's like the name carries the clothing that's there, and then that's what you're buying into. You're buying into the branding, at least with the brand. Like if you're buying into an independent brand, it's like you're buying into the branding as well as like the quality and all the other things I talked about before. So like,
yeah, 100%. I feel the same way about like merch too, but like some of my favorite brands are like bare knuckles, and like I look at BK and I'm like, that's not like Jacob's YouTube shit. No, like it's a brand. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's totally disassociated from his YouTube. I feel like
now it is. Yeah. I think at the beginning he might have been showing off a few pieces here and there, but a lot of like those creators don't even make YouTube content anymore. And I'm curious, dude, like in your future, do you feel like you want to make clothes, or do you feel like you've kind of found like your niche?
Yeah. I definitely want to get into making clothes. I'm like in the process of like going through the motions of that right now, like sampling and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't want to like pinpoint it as like a brand. I kind of want it to be a bit more than that.
Right.
I want it to be like a bit more multifaceted, kind of like how I am as like a creative. So eventually I want to get into like gallery work and like film and other things. So, but yeah, like obviously the medium that everyone is going to be able to relate to is clothing. So I've been like playing with that idea recently, and it's pretty interesting. It's a long process. Obviously I've only started like since September, but it's a really long process.
Like we've spoke about it on the pod before. Like it's so easy for someone to be like, oh, you know, like this is taking so long, or like if they buy a pre-order, they don't understand that like it takes a long time to make.
A lot of hands touching this thing,
absolutely. You know? And sampling takes so long.
It's incredibly
because every single time you want to change something, it has to go back to the manufacturer. They have to make the changes. They have to make the new piece.
And you're paying for those new samples every single time, right? So
sampling isn't cheap, man.
And all people just see is that Shopify checkout.
Yeah,
that's all they see, and then they're like, 2 weeks, it's been too long, you know? Like, like I get it. I get the consumer standpoint, but like once you get into like, I tell everyone this too, is like when you consume long enough, you want to like create, because like nothing meets your standard.
Yeah,
like you end up going through all the motions. You're like, okay, like you buy things and then you want to change them.
Yeah,
like, it's like, you're like, oh, okay, it's not fitting perfect for me. Like you have to alter it. So yeah,
that makes a lot of sense, actually. So that's a great point. Like if I think about that, I've been a huge consumer in my life. You know, I've always been, you know, into fashion, you know, buying pieces and whatnot. But you definitely get to that stage eventually where you're just like, either I have to tailor all my clothes so they can be exactly the way I want, or I have to just make my own shit. Yeah, you know? I totally see where you're at right now.
And you kind of did that with your trousers too, right? Like you wanted to create something like...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the text was really more like a one-time drop, I think. It was really just like, I used to rock these trousers that I had custom made at a tailor of mine back home. Nice. And I would just get so many people message me all the time, like, yo, where'd you get those pants? Yo, where'd you get those pants? Yo, where'd you get those pants? So eventually I was just like, all right, fine, I'm going to make like a small batch and just release those. But yeah, I mean, that was that. I mean, I'd love to make clothes eventually, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like my life's going in a different direction than that right now. I think that you need to dedicate a lot of time and a lot of effort, and that needs to be what you're doing. And I think that a lot of people make the mistake where they spread themselves so thin. They're like, all right, I'm going to make clothes, and then I'm also going to make jewelry, and then I'm also going to, like, you know, do this, and I'm going to make art, and I'm going to make videos. Like, and at that point, you're spreading yourself so thin. It's like, I think you should focus on doing one or two things very well, as opposed to, you know, 10 things poorly.
Yeah, I totally agree with that statement for sure. A lot of people like get so caught up in the fact that all of these are kind of like get rich quick schemes. Like everyone just sees like, oh, like this is my way to make it, and everyone wants to be 1%. No one wants to be normal anymore. Right. Like, no one ever wants to be normal, and like not everyone could be that. You know, it's kind of crazy that everyone wants these crazy jobs. You know, like if you go and ask a kid
what they want to do,
it's a vlogger.
Right. Yeah. Before it used to be like, anymore. I want to be an astronaut. Yeah. And now it's like, I want to be a TikTok star.
Yeah, I want to be a TikTok star. It's actually nuts to me.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, yeah, definitely. It's crazy.
And so back to your brand, that's something that you're working on right now?
Yeah, it's something I'm working on right now. It's nothing too like concrete yet. Like I don't have I have a name, but like I don't even want to like say it or anything. But like, so it's like in the works, but it's fun. It's like it's a fun little building project for me, just to like see where it goes, and then if it actually forms itself, then
something you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're doing it the right way. I think a lot of people make the mistake where they just start talking about everything that they're gonna do.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like when it finally gets there, it's like, you know. Like I think taking your time and, really meditating everything and, just making sure the product is perfect before, actually you even, like you said, you don't even want to say the brand's name.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was like the main thing for me is like, I could have dropped like merch such a long time ago. Like it's like the money is obviously there and the people are obviously there, but like, that's not my end goal. Like I'm always a firm believer in product and like also quality. So like, I didn't want to have people buy into something that I personally wouldn't buy into also. So, and also if I want to practice what I preach, if I'm on the channel preaching like designer clothing and like these like smaller brands.
It'd be weird to sell like t-shirts, right?
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't like really translate too well. So, that's why I'm like really working hard on making sure it's the best it could be and like really true to what I envisioned. And then eventually it'll be where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I think that a lot of YouTubers, or not even just YouTubers, like people who have brands in general, sometimes they'll make a product because they know that they can sell it. Yeah. But I have such a hard time buying into a product that's represented, like that's made by a person that that I can't associate with their style.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, I see a lot of people make a bunch of clothes and then you actually check their style and it's like, they would never wear the shit that
they're making. Yeah. And I'm sure like with merch, like you could have made the bag.
Yeah.
The margins are probably high, just screen printed crap.
Exactly.
But it probably didn't feel right within yourself and what you do,
No, for sure. Like, and of course, like obviously everyone wears a sweatsuit and everyone can make a sweatsuit, but it's like, do I want to really do that? I don't really know. Maybe down the line, if like it's in the brand DNA, then for sure I'll do that. But like out the gate, I just feel like it's me doing a disservice to myself and also
to your personal brand. Absolutely. I think that you have to 100% associate everything you do with your own personal image, and I think that you're definitely going about it the right way for sure.
Yeah. Kyron, you're somebody that when I look at when I watch your videos, when I look at your closet, I'm thinking that this guy's like a collector. He's someone that doesn't lock himself down on a particular aesthetic. You mess around with Western, a little bit avant-garde, everything in between, vintage. How would you best describe your style? As hard of a question that
it's really hard. I've been asked this question so much recently, and like I finally found a way to answer it. So it's like it's very situational based. So like depending on what I have to do in the day or like whether, like I'm very like it has to be the environment, right? So like if I know what I'm going to be doing in the day, weather and all like the people I'm going to see, I kind of will dress into that, or like I have pieces that I know that I want to use for the next week or so for content and stuff like that. Then I'll like kind of like paint it based on that. So like if it's raining today, I'm going to wear Arc'teryx. If it's like, or like if I'm going to go see Jackson, I'm going to wear Western, you gotta be booted up, So it's like, it's different things like that.
Shout out to Jackson, by the way. Hopefully you're going to have him on the pod soon.
Sure. The collaboration that everyone wants, it's going to be the Fashion Moves Forward and Selective. That'd be crazy. It's like those cartoon mashups,
Yeah, man. I mean, look, Midnight, what they're doing at Fashion Move Forward is great. The content's always been there, but Midnight Rodeo is also really cool.
Yeah, it's super really cool. I just got a hat from him yesterday. It's so nice.
And I love how the brand has its own identity.
It's
that video that he did, like the Midnight Rodeo Man. Like, that was a dope
Tanner?
video.
With Tanner.
Shout out to Tanner. We had him on the podcast.
We had him on the pod earlier.
And has such strong energy. It's amazing.
And for me, it's like I connect with it because I grew up in Texas.
Oh yeah,
I don't know,
that's great.
Like those guys are from there. I've spoken to Tanner about it a lot, and that's always been like the identity of Midnight Rodeo and what they're doing. And I don't know. Obviously, Jackson has a lot of experience with Fashion Moves Forward. He worked at Celine.
Now
he's back at Patreon.
Exactly. So I mean, he's been around the game for a long time. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So moving on from what you're working on right now, what do you have lined up for the future?
Lined up for the future. I mean, I started getting in the past year, like since I've been giving YouTube a lot more attention. I wanted to like figure out how I'm going to expand past YouTube, not just like that I'm going to leave it behind, but like I feel like YouTube,
you can't do it forever.
You can't do it forever. Like I know I'm not going to be doing YouTube when I'm 40, but like it doesn't.
People have such a hard time grasping that.
I know.
Because like when Jacob stopped making videos, when Fernando stopped making videos, people are like, come back.
Yeah.
And it's like, nothing lasts forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And like people find other interests, and like I get where they're coming from,
and people lose interest.
Too. Like you're not going to want him to force something.
Exactly, it's not going to be authentic.
Yeah, definitely not. But like I see why someone would maybe come back to it, or if it's like right place, right time. For me, like I've always documented my life. So like maybe when I get into those older ages, when I'm 30, I'll have someone film me, or I'll like post the, like touching on the brand aspect. Yeah. I'd post like some of the short film work I would be working on, or BTS of that on the channel, you know, because like I feel like everything grows into something. Yeah. It's never going to be something that it was forever, you know? So
absolutely.
Yeah. So the goal with that is to like, right now I'm like kind of expanding past YouTube into like consulting, styling, and yeah, that's about it. And designing as well. Yeah. So it's been a juggle, but it's been really fun.
So how is styling? Tell us a bit about styling.
Styling is good. It's at first it was very corporate, I would say. It was like a lot of corporate styling that I was doing. The first job that I got was a combination of consulting and styling, but I didn't really like it too much. Then I got more into creative styling, and that's a lot of fun. But I want to get more into like artist work. Yeah. Yeah, that's like the goal. The first guy that I started working with is this artist called Skyfall. He's from Montreal. He has like, damn,
that's good.
The Thunder came.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard that.
We have a sound cue. Maybe that's the Funkmaster Flex bomb drop.
Exactly, man.
That was insane.
So you style, would you say mostly Montreal-based people?
Yeah, Montreal-based people for the most part right now. But eventually I want to get into like traveling and styling too. I don't know if it's in my plan for forever, but it's great. Like I feel like I have a knack for it.
Yeah. And I feel like it's fun.
And it's fun. Yeah, exactly. It's not what everyone always paints it to be. Like it's not like, oh, like
unlimited budget.
Yeah, like you have to work within constraints sometimes. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? It's not always like as miraculous as a lot of people like to.
Yeah, a lot of people like to glamorize it.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Yeah, 100%. Like and they see the end product. Like obviously, the first one that people kind of got to see from me. Like I did a video recently when I was styling Skyfall. Yeah. And like they see the end product, which is the video that comes out of it, but like they don't see like all the work I did before that. They didn't know I was like up until like 3 a.m. picking all the pieces for him, and like you know they don't see all of that. So like there is a lot of work that goes into things like styling and everything like that. And the consulting has been fun because I'm learning how to operate other people's brands and making sure that my brand is as tight ship as it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So like you kind of learn through other people's mistakes. Yeah, so like that's been another fun journey that I've been going through too with the consulting. So,
with the styling, I'm curious to know like when you're styling other people, I guess it carries case by case. It depends, but maybe pushback or do they come with you with a vision? Hey, this is what I wear, or do they leave it all to you?
It depends on what they're really looking for. Some people, like if it's like a more of a creative, they'll like ask me to like fully take care of it, and then like that's good. Like when I go back to Montreal, I think there's like a music video that I might potentially go into and do, and then that's like me. I take the full reign of that. Yeah. But then there's other people where they're like, this is the mood board, or they have a manager. They're like, this is the mood board. This is like what she normally wears. This is a past couple of shoots, or like, this is what he kind of gravitates towards. Yeah. And then I kind of like take that and then I expand upon that for sure. And then also get the means of the clothing is another like challenge. It's like, if they want to go rental route, rental is like the future I find for styling and fashion.
Do you know Artifact?
No, I don't.
So my homie Hugh, he lives here. He has like probably the biggest vintage clothing artifact, like Helmut Lang, Raf Simons, everything. Wow. We're going to have him on the pod soon. You know David Casavant?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
But he rents out like to Travis, Drake, everyone. That's crazy really, pieces. Really cool. And it's crazy that you said that. I totally believe that rental is also like
100%.
Especially with archive, right?
Yeah.
With these pieces that you can't find, bro.
Yeah. And then on top of it, it's like for an artist or like anyone that's in that space, having clothing is almost like an asset that you don't really want because you can only wear it once. Like for the artist, like, at least, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a one and done thing. And then everyone has this whole, this taste of it, I guess, like outfit repeating, you know what I mean? Especially if you're like a creative. So they're like, the rental is the future of that. Everyone gets to have their fun with the piece, and then you pay a fraction of it, and everyone wins.
You always get a new piece.
Yeah, you get the fit pick, you get a new piece. Like, it's definitely the future for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
With archive in particular, I feel like it's a lucrative business model because like those pieces aren't getting easier to find.
Yeah, they're getting harder to find.
They're getting harder to find as time goes on, and you know, renting, like the whole like paradigm around renting clothes, like to our parents, like what?
Yeah.
It's like a foreign concept, right? It's like, that's not.
I think it's a very new concept.
Very new. Yeah.
100%. And then on the consulting side. So for brand consulting, things around people's brand, are people coming to you with help on how to grow their image, their brand? Mm-hmm. Is it hard? What do you find harder, styling, consulting?
I find consulting is a bit more difficult because like the brand could be so different from what I would do. So you kind of have to put yourself in the shoes of them, right? Yeah. So like you have to know like what their needs are and what their end goals are. And then also what they're expecting out of you. Because like if they're expecting the moon and the stars, like I might not be able to provide that, but I'll tell them exactly what I can do for them. Like I tell them my expertise, which is like more like community building and like just like overall brand polishing, like figuring out the direct way to make sure that your brand is actually where it's supposed to be and like streamlining that process. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's where I take the reins, and it's been helpful for a lot of brands. And I kind of have like different packages and stuff like that I propose to them, like long-term deals.
And would you say that you're selective with the brands you work with?
I am, because like sometimes it just doesn't align, or like, sometimes it just doesn't align for me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, let's say a certain brand have like a Western image, and they come up to you and they're like, we want to transition into streetwear. It's kind of like,
it's hard to do, you know? It's like, how do I even paint that picture? It's like if Nike wanted to get into suiting, you know, exactly. It's like it doesn't really translate well. It has
nothing to do with your brand image.
Yeah, you know? at all, you know? So it's kind of hard to cross that bridge.
Absolutely. Sure. I can imagine. Yeah.
I feel that. I feel like social media is a big part of like building your brand, the aesthetic. I mean, that's something at the Selective that we focus on a lot. We work with Sean on the Instagram, and it's like you want it to look a certain, like you want your brand to be you're represented in a particular aesthetic. And it's crazy how like Instagram, you page to page, the mood's different, the aesthetic's different. I really enjoy that. You know what I mean? I feel like it gives people an identity behind, you know?
For sure. I wanted to give you guys your credit and your flowers, because the thinking page is like definitely one of like the best Instagram pages.
Yeah, shout out to Sean.
No, like he snaps. Like that's actually insane. Like,
dude, that kid works.
Yeah, like, you could tell. Like anyone that is in social media and could see that page would be like, wow, like he's putting it.
Bro, Sean is 16, or he just turned 17.
He just turned 17.
No, that's nuts.
And he lives in South Africa, bro. Honestly, claps for Sean. Shout out to Sean.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah,
he's actually crazy.
Yeah, he's
a boss, man.
Kid in South Africa who's like he's like in love with the culture, and he just grinds like crazy. And that's translated well for our page, you know, because he obviously helps us out. So, but yeah, and like the whole image behind your brand, it's so important. Even like the way your social media looks, you know.
Yeah, it definitely is. The archive pages actually threw a really cool curveball into this space, I find.
It's crazy. Like if you think about 4 years ago, there was no one had an archive page where they're just like reposting cool pictures and whatnot. And nowadays it's like everybody wants to have a cool
Everyone wants a mood board page.
Everybody. Yeah. But that was another conversation I was having with some friends. I was like, this is going to be a dangerous time for a lot of people, because like now there's mood curators, and then now there's a lot of people that don't know what they actually like. Are they consuming things like directly from these pages, and then like now they have a curated version of like what they deem as cool. And like
that's a great point.
Like is this like what you actually like, or are you being fed this?
It's like, because it's crazy if you go on hidden, you go on their tagged pictures, like all you see is people that are like, I'm trying to take my pictures and I'm trying to be like the hidden aesthetic so that I can get on hidden.
Exactly.
And it's like at that point you're kind of moving away from your own identity. I feel like you're trying to be something else.
Totally.
Right?
That's a crazy point, man. It's like those echo chambers that you get like locked into can be dangerous, you know, to like, I mean, I think, and I've talked about it on the pod before, like for me, myself, the past couple of years, like figuring out what I like and stuff. Like there's so many times where you look at a page and you're thinking like, you know, I want to be driven by that. And we step back, it's like, it's not me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it is.
And it can be dangerous, you know?
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, it's like, you have to consume in order to figure out what you like, you know? So that's the Funk Master Flex is back. But yeah, you have to consume in order to figure out what you like. And then that's kind of how you figure out your style.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like trial and error.
Yeah.
I feel like I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, sometimes you look at something and you're like, yo, I love this. And then you buy it and then it comes in and it's like, I can't fucking buy this.
Yeah.
You know?
At all.
Yeah. It happened to me a lot.
Mm-hmm. And it comes with age too. Like I always thought that like by this time I was like, oh, like I'll still be doing the same thing, but like I'll completely change.
Completely different. Yeah.
I like the way I used to dress, like even a year or 2 years ago before the pandemic versus how I am now is already like completely different.
Completely different. Yeah.
Speaking of that, any recent purchases you regret?
I regret.
I saw you rocking the Kiss boots. I know you don't regret those Rick Kiss boots.
You know what's funny about that? This is a full circle moment. I tried those on because I didn't know if I'd be able to like even walk in them in the first place. And like my essay at Essence, Tommy, he wears them all the time.
I've seen his Instagram.
Yeah.
I've seen his. He's
This
like a
guy-
full Rick.
Full Rick,
like a wizard, man.
Yeah, like a wizard,
yeah.
literally. But like the store Essence is 5 floors, and it's like just concrete. So it's just like he's running. He's just running up and down these stairs all day in Kiss boots. I'm like, bro, you're like insane. This guy's like an acrobat. So I was like, I don't know if I'm able to do that. Like I don't know if I'm able to like actually like walk normally. He's like, okay, true test, go up and down the stairs once and see if you're able to walk. So then I just tested them out. I was like, okay, they're actually like not that bad. The first step in, I was like, okay, it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
And then you
feel like you're walking on stilts.
Yeah, like I just feel tall as hell. I was like, I'm 6'3" up here. Life is different up here.
They gave you a couple inches.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely give you a couple inches. But I didn't buy that specific one because I didn't like the metal toe, like the
studs and like
not even that, like the silver. I didn't like the silver. I wanted black. But then also I was being picky because there's this one that Michelle Lamy wears all the time, and it's from an old season. It's all black, not the clear sole,
not the clear heel,
but like metal cap on the toe. And then I want that one, but it's gone, and they only sell it in like small sizes. Jeez, it's crazy.
It's not even raining outside.
It's just like
thunder.
Purely sound effects.
The weather here this summer has been crazy. It's been like raining on and off. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, you weren't here when the hurricane was hitting it. Right?
No, I was so scared that was going to happen when I was here. I was like,
he had to change his flight.
I had to change my flight to it. Yeah,
dude.
But yeah. So talk about the full circle moment. Farfetch hit me up for a deal recently, and then I saw them and I got them. I got the black one now. So,
fire.
Yeah.
Damn,
how do you like when you leave the house wearing Kiss boots, bro? I gotta ask you, man, because it's like, how does it like? Are you worried about like walking in them? Are they
walking? I would see that more as like an event type of shoe, like that.
Right.
I can't see.
You're not wearing those day to day.
No, you can't. I understand the people that are like Rick wizards. Like I call them the Rick wizards. Like they just wear that all the time. I get it, but like I can't do that for myself. Maybe for an event if I'm stepping out, something like that. But that's about it. It's already enough for me wearing cowboy boots for a full day. This is my first time doing that, and it's like it's brutal, especially a New York day. I'm doing like 20K steps.
Everywhere.
New York day,
oh my god, I'm doing 20K steps in a day. It's nuts. Like
that's New York City.
Yeah, it's not fun, man. But regrettable purchase.
Regrettable purchase. I don't think I have one. Everything has been very
that's good.
Very like calculated.
Yeah, exactly. I think we were talking about age before, and I feel like we're all probably at that age where we're like, I know exactly what I want to buy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It takes me like a month to get something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I used to be just like, oh, I like this. Boom, buy it,
right away,
But nowadays it's really like I meditate pretty much on my purchases.
Yeah. Like even Megs is outside. Like my girlfriend, she knows I've been wanting this ring from Chrome Hearts for like 3 years, the cemetery ring, but I didn't want to buy it on Grailed because most of them are fake.
Yeah.
So I've been
don't
waiting.
Buy Chrome Hearts jewelry on.
Don't do it. Anyone
everything
that's
is fake,
this,
dude.
most of it's fake. Like 95% of it's fake.
Yeah.
So
buy it at the Selective.
Yeah, exactly. At the Selective. Shameless plug. Well needed, So I went into the store today. They didn't have it, so now I have to order it, but from them. So at least I could still get done. But that's like an example. Like I've been waiting 3 years to get that ring.
Did you go to the West Village store, the flagship, or did you go to
the flagship one? Yeah, and then they asked the one that sells
Uptown,
just
jewelry.
Uptown. Yeah, they asked that one, and then they didn't have it.
That's close to where I live. The Uptown one. Okay. That's where I got the space shirt.
Nice.
But the cemeteries, man. Do you want one with the diamonds or no diamonds?
No diamonds, bro. I already have the pendant. I'm good.
Yeah. I used to have a cemetery ring.
Did you?
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, Chrome Hearts. The Chrome Hearts store is actually beautiful.
It's so nice, man.
Did you go upstairs?
I don't think they let. Yeah, I don't think they were letting people.
Bro, he's like the only guy here who's been upstairs.
I've went up.
Oh, you have?
I haven't
been up, man.
you know why? It's because I got into a little back and forth with the employee one time.
Man.
Is because I'm from Canada. I was like, come on, man. Like I
came all this way.
I came all this way. It was because I have like my debit card doesn't have your name on it. It's not like the States. Like,
really?
Yeah, it's just, it's blank.
So they didn't want to accept it?
They were like, you need to have like a card with your name on it to purchase. So I was like, bro. So then they made me go all the way to an ATM that was like so long, like so far away. And then I came back and then I kicked up a fist. I was like, yo, like I did all of this for this. Like, please, like at least let me upstairs. And they're like, okay, cool. Like, and then that's when I got to see upstairs.
It's furniture, right?
Yeah, it's furniture.
It's killer, but they have a kitchen.
They have chefs.
They told me one time that they're like, yo, let me know in advance and we can have the chef make you food up there.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
Wait, like there's a chef up there?
They cook for their employees for lunch every day.
No, it's like a proper night.
It's over the top. It's crazy.
Yeah, over the top.
Yeah.
That's Chrome Hearts, man.
They have like, I think Richard Stark's like first motorcycle jacket and like a crate. Just like,
really?
Yeah, they have
like a shrine.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's crazy.
It's a crazy spot for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you've been in New York for a few days, man. So I know we were talking about it before. It's always good to be back in the city, but any other places that you're trying to get to before you get out of here?
Before I get out of New York?
Yeah.
Places that I'm trying to visit.
Yeah.
I think like just more like food spots. Like I'm really into food. We're going to go to Mr. Chow, I think tomorrow.
Nice.
I've never had it before, so I'm
chicken
interested to try
satay
it.
is fire.
Yeah. Okay. I'm definitely going to try that. Yeah. We had Carbone yesterday.
Shout out Carbone, man. It's hard to get in Carbone, bro.
It's hard, man.
Oh my God.
We were sniping that reservation. We sniped that.
What time did you guys go at?
5:15.
Dude, that's like the worst time to go, bro.
That's what you said. It's like, they got 5:15 or you got 11.
11. And I was like, 11, they're not even going to serve us alcohol. Like it's like ridiculous. So we ended up going there. Everything else is like more like just shops, I guess. We haven't been to Metropolis yet. I like Metropolis.
Metropolis is really good.
Yeah, it's really cool.
These days, it's pretty expensive, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's a little taxed.
It's pretty taxed.
It's pretty taxed. Yeah, I was there with Joel.
When they used to have their old location, that was like full of gems.
Yeah.
Where was it at?
Bro, it was near NYU.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My friend Louis was
Near
telling me
Parsons.
about that.
Dude, the new location's weird. It's like in like,
I feel like it's more like commercial, you know? It's more like,
Is it near Search and Destroy or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
dude, the new location is in Soho, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Is there any other spot recommendations that you
Dude, ask Joel.
Joel?
Honestly, yeah.
Joel got all the spots. I went to the Louis pop-up today.
Did he go with you?
Yeah.
Bro,
He brought me everywhere.
been like 30 times.
We went to ALD. We went to the Louis pop-up. We went to Stussy.
Bro, did you go to Kith?
Didn't go to Kith.
Bro,
went to Kith 2 days before.
Dude, he literally like I hit him up. I'm like, we're gonna hang out, and he's like, bet. And I show up, and like we hit the exact like he has
Exact same
like
spot, yeah.
whenever Joel invites,
He got like a route.
He got like a route that he takes.
He goes through the motions.
How'd you like the LV pop up?
It was nice.
It's beautiful.
Nice.
There,
yeah, I wanted to see the oversized frames that Angel just did recently. I wanted to see them in real life. They're really big. I thought they were going to be like, I knew they were a big frame, but they're like monstrous.
Yeah.
They're kind of crazy.
ALD is nice.
ALD is really nice.
And it's a vibe.
That's the spot.
That's like
the vibe, man.
Literally what Joel told me today. He was like,
Joel lives there, bro.
That's this generation's like Ralph Lauren for real.
You
like,
think so?
I feel like it is. Yeah.
I think so, man.
I feel like eventually New York's gonna like pick up on this style, and it's gonna bring it back to the roots of what it was in the 90s. Wow. And then I feel like it'll expand. It'll definitely expand. It'll get into like European culture. I feel like
Damn, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about it because it does have very much like that image, like Ralph Lauren, and it has that New York identity. I feel like Teddy Santis, I think that's his name. Right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
he's great. He's fantastic, dude. I feel like everything they do is dope.
No, his branding is
insane. Like with Porsche collab, bro.
Yeah,
he's doing that, bro. That's crazy.
The store is nice too. The coffee shop, they set like the vibe at ALD. Yeah, they do. With the store.
Always playing good music.
I thought they were very similar to Noah at first.
Yeah, a little like it's
but then they went and did it full throttle in a different way. So absolutely. I really appreciated that for sure.
Yeah, man, that's a great point actually with the Ralph Lauren.
Yeah,
about how that's like. That's the new route. I mean, because back then there was no like drop culture. There was no like stuff was rare. There was no like reselling. But nowadays they're kind of like the Ralph Lauren, but they're so cool that it's like hard to get the good stuff.
Yeah. And I was like, even talking to my dad the other day too, I was like, I might have subconsciously like started to appreciate Ralph Lauren when I was
Ralph
younger
Lauren's a boss,
because of like him. Like he was always shopping Polo, but then like I was always interested in like RRL just looking at it because it was like Western and
Americana.
Stuff. Yeah, Americana.
I love RRL, man.
It's so nice.
My dad and my mom wear a lot of Capital and RRL.
Yeah.
And
That's amazing.
That's so dope,
that's
right?
crazy. That's a flex.
And we kind of grew up around like that Americana culture.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So I mean, they love Double RO, and when my parents were visiting here a couple weeks ago, we went to Double RO. They have a nice store in Brooklyn, and it's just like what Ralph Lauren was able to do, differentiating like Polo and then Double RO.
And there's like Black Label.
It's incredible.
Label.
It's incredible, man. It's just incredible branding, man. It's like nothing that anyone else has ever done, you know. So
people need to like give him his credit for sure. He's like an amazing designer. Man. Yeah, he's an amazing designer for sure.
Wrapping up, a pretty good time, bro. I guess a last fun questions. Any recent pickups, stuff that you've been buying?
Recent pickups. I guess the Kiss Boots is the most recent one.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be the cemetery ring today, but they don't have my size.
How sad are you, man?
I was tight.
What finger do you want it on?
I want it on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. That's I just want to space it because like these ones are back to back.
Right.
I was able to wear the one that he let me try on this one, but I was like, I don't think it's the right finger. So.
No, it's better. Like,
it's
what we were talking about before.
You know?
It's like, I came here. This is what I wanted. I meditated.
I had it in my head for 3 years. I was like, this finger, this.
I'm not gonna settle.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
I think it made the right move.
It was still beneficial though because like no one knows chrome prices either. So like I just went and I was like, tell me the prices for everything. I'm about to start stacking. I know exactly what I want.
When you're buying on Grilled and shit, they're so inflated.
Exactly.
And like,
so no one knows
what retail
no,
is.
and they have absolutely no online presence.
Yeah.
Like we have an article actually on the Selective about how they recently started selling some stuff online, like some limited drops and whatnot. But like they have absolutely no price list online. There's no references. Like
it's so mysterious.
And you can't take pictures in the store. You know?
No.
So it's like we got some vlog footage, baby.
Yeah.
You did?
We get it popping in there.
That's good.
The allure around Chrome Hearts has always been interesting, man. So the spacer was the one that I have was only 300, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting to go in there and they're going to be like, oh, 600-700 because that's the prices I see online, bro.
Yeah. But it was 350 or something.
Only like 3 something.
You know what's crazy is that the first time I bought one of those spacers, like maybe 3-4 years ago, it was $210 at the store.
Oh, don't tell me that, man. That's crazy.
But you know what? I heard this. They take the inflation of the brand and then also the inflation of silver price too.
That's
so,
probably
and then they just like do increases.
Yeah.
No, I heard that they increase their price by at least 5% every year.
Really?
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's similar to, did you guys hear about like that big increase with Chanel? Like when
that was controversial, man.
That was crazy.
With their bags.
Yeah. It's because they announced it, but like brands like Hermes, for example, their prices go up 3%.
They do it without people
telling
you.
People just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like Chanel announced it. I feel like that's where they made the mistake.
I feel like Chanel and Hermes are like a different echelon.
Yeah, they're amazing for sure.
It's just
that's the top of the game.
Yeah, it's the top tier.
Loro Piana.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, I was on Essence. I seen a Loro Piana jacket for like $10,000. I was like, that's a car, dude. That's so
the car, man. You can drive that thing.
Yeah,
you know
I can literally drive it.
Any other pickups, man, besides the Kiss Boots?
What's the last thing I picked up? Honestly, I'm trying to think. I don't think any. That's the most recent one. I got that literally while I was on the trip. I replied back to Farfetch while I was on the trip.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Yeah, that's the most recent pickup.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
Man, Kyron, it's been a pleasure having you on the pod.
This is a great conversation, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's always fun to just chop it up,
always
bro.
fun, man. Honestly.
Great combos.
We had a great time having you on. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man.
And hopefully, you'll be back in New York. Get to come on another time.
Gotta take me to little sister, bro.
Absolutely.
Get me in there.
I'll take you there. You let me know in advance.
We in there.
Any last minute plugs, bro? Anything you want to shout out?
Shout out to everyone that's watching this. I appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Make sure you guys check out Kyron's channel, of course.
Yes. Check out the Selective. Go buy all the stuff. Buy all the garms you need.
Yes, of course.
Shout out to Megs for staying and watching.
Shout out to her. Been sitting here.
Yeah,
just chilling.
sitting pretty.
Appreciate Kyron, man. Appreciate you coming on the pod, of course. And then anytime you're back in New York, man, always welcome on the show. We'll chop it up. We'll have a good time.
For sure. Most definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes. Now that we're in the studio, live content. And we'll keep it locked in.
Guys, as always, thank y'all so much. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.